And this is session 2 of 4 for yet another Campaign of the Veil, a fan favorite for the Gauntlet Hangouts. And we're continuing to work through this. Last time we did character building and world building. And so today we're going to start out with doing some refresh on where the characters are at. We're going to talk about beliefs. We're going to roll in talking about XP from last session, and then we're going to get moving into things. So, Maria, if you could start us out, could you please tell us about Nobu?
Nobuyasu Hoyo is a hitman. He also doesn't have a neurochip or any cybernetics because he thinks that those are dumb.
And what does he look like?
He looks like a thug. And people think he has a high-end avatar apparently because he doesn't have anything. So yeah, he just keeps himself without any kind of cyber stuff.
All right. What did you establish as your beliefs for Nobuyasu?
Okay. The first one is humanity is frivolous and stupid.
Okay.
The second one is cybernetics make people weak. And the third one is strength is all anyone needs to survive.
Okay. So let me ask you this. How would you imagine, just in general, each of those would get challenged? What would be a thing that would challenge that belief for you, that would make you rethink it?
I think it would be like if, for example, humanity shows itself to be not like to care more than just the outer appearance of like the veil and shit. Cybernetics, if I meet someone who has cybernetics and can basically go up to me and fight like on the same level, then that could work. Well, also they can fight on the same level and also has a good reason to use the cybernetics.
Okay.
Other than, oh, I'm gonna use cybernetics just to beat the shit out of this person who doesn't have one. And strength, I think you can challenge strength by showing that strength isn't everything. So, yeah.
So other options.
Yeah.
Places where strength don't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about last session. Did you think that in the course of that we managed to hit any of those, to challenge any of those beliefs? It was pretty short.
Think so. Yeah,
okay.
I don't think we did anything yet.
Okay. All right. But thank you for going through those. That's what I'm going to be doing with everybody, is asking, okay, what do you view as the way that we challenge that? I think that's useful. Okay, well, thank you, Maria. Anything else you want to say about that? Anything particular you want?
Not right now.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. In that case, let's talk to JB.
So JB, I'm playing the Onomastic Playbook. And he is the last surviving member of the Onomastic Order, the White Rabbit. I came up with a name for them.
Ooh, okay.
And so he was sort of a punky little kid when he managed to like bluff his way into the group, and didn't manage to learn too much from them before they all got wiped out by the Iconoclasts, horrifying neon angels. And so he has spent the rest of his life sort of running, reinventing himself as this like sort of fabulous and abrasive drag queen veil stylist. She's certainly gotten into some trouble over the time with that identity and run across the Iconoclasts a couple of times, but mostly has managed to stay in the acceptable level of mild criminal involvement and not not picking up too much attention.
Mild criminal involvement. That is a wonderful way to put that. I'm going to write that down.
Oh, and the salon is Bombshell.
That's right, and it has been bombed.
Well,
Yesterday, someone told me that at their workplace, when a truck catches fire, it is no longer saying that the truck caught fire. They say that there was a thermal event.
oh, it's distressing when you need to come up with, sort of nomenclature for it.
Yeah. Maria, I cut you off there.
Oh no, I was gonna say it didn't actually get bombed because Prime stopped it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There's just the door that Prime went out to get at the guy outside that's sort of been knocked out of place.
Oh, don't worry. I can get righteously upset about that, too.
Okay. JB, talk to me about your beliefs.
Okay, so I have the veil is not free, which is the veil is controlling us more than we control it. I have hiding in the foreground, which is I can avoid the serious attention of my enemies by being flamboyantly frivolous. And machine versus machine. Aladdin understands the threat posed by the iconoclasts like few others. He will be instrumental in their downfall.
Okay. So talk to me about how you're picturing the kinds of things that could challenge those beliefs for you.
So for the last one there with Aladdin, I'm sort of building off the fact that like he has seen the threat by the iconoclasts. It was part of I think what shifted him into this Catabolist mindset of obsessively trying to upgrade himself. So I think the challenge there could come if like he starts to focus on other things more than the iconoclasts, if he like believes that there are bigger threats around, or alternatively if like we run across the iconoclasts or one of their plans or things or whatever, and Aladdin like isn't enough to stand up to them, either can't stand up to their attacks, or his attacks, his sort of threat against them doesn't come to bear, that sort of thing.
But before I move on to the other beliefs, let me ask you a question. This is for both you and Aladdin. How much do you think Aladdin has talked to you about this Catabolist philosophy, his vision of making himself upgraded and more cybernetic?
I don't know. How evangelical is he, like, in general?
I wasn't picturing him as being very.
Okay.
Remember, his is more fear-based, that he's so it might be more convincing people that he's doing this because he's afraid that they're going to come after him again, specifically, and this is his only way to really fight back. We just established that the fence that I use, what was her name?
Matilda,
that she believes. So that must be why she's helping me.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is the sort of thing that would come out in like long nights, drunken nights, that sort of like mixture of extremity and lowered inhibitions, when we both sort of break through the fear and shells that we put up around these sorts of terrors and talk about them. But it's not something that we generally like acknowledge during the light of the day, sort of thing.
Interesting, both based on fear combined with a character who is truly fearless, in the form of Nobu there. All right, what about the hiding in the foreground?
So I definitely think like the light criminal involvement, the little underworld dabbling there, could definitely lead to attention by people that I see as real threats, mostly the iconoclasts, but someone that could out me or relate me to my past would also be an equally credible threat there. JB is sort of lighthearted in his involvement with criminality, and so something that makes it more serious and hits home as a real threat to his interests, as opposed to just like, oh, the police might be involved, or oh, they might come and kick down the door of my salon, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And finally, the veil is not free. What would challenge that?
I'll admit that one's a little harder because it's sort of in the solid belief camp, and that, I don't know, that one may need some reworking, but okay. I could definitely see like friendly, peaceful, helpful overtures from the iconoclasts, them convincingly putting forward something of like, all these misunderstandings and conflicts of the past don't need to continue. You weren't fully cognizant of all the things that the White Rabbit group was doing, so maybe they weren't the great people you think they were.
Okay. Yeah. Let's put a pin in that one, yeah. and we may, we can check in again at the beginning of next session and see if you're happy with that, or if you want to change that around. Okay. So let's keep an eye on that. Aladdin.
Yes. So Aladdin is a catabolist. We've already established that his motivation is from fear, that he is trying to, since he could not have a neurochip, he had to work with Prime to establish his own sort of equivalence of a neurochip and work on finding and integrating cybernetics into himself. They have to be homebrew cybernetics because otherwise they won't work. His body will reject them. And this is all for the goal of being able to fight back against the iconoclasts. Did we establish that the iconoclasts are part of the Veil, or is it possible that there might be? Okay.
Yeah, the iconoclasts are a manifestation of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and they may have, I think they claim that they made themselves, basically. That may or may not be true. Maybe someone dropped them in at some point and they went rampant in the Veil. But yeah, they certainly sort of control the substructure and embody it.
Yeah. Okay. Gnostic, self-aware enforcers. So.
Okay. Right. So, as I said, his is based on fear that his family was attacked when he was a child. And they were wiped out. So since then, he's been basically hiding and dumpster diving to try and get his cybernetics. And he seems to be now suddenly getting successful at it since in the last session, he actually managed to get some stuff. So,
yeah, he managed to do the successful dumpster dive move, which is something I've not seen in the entirety of the other campaign I ran. So that's great. Tell me about your beliefs.
My beliefs are pretty simple. So the first one is I'm human, damn it. And that's to fight his integrating the cybernetics. He's holding on to the concept that he's human, that humanity is not defined by, say, your bodies. It's defined by your actions, your thoughts. So he's holding on to that, along with holding on very clearly to his view of masculinity. So he's got a beard. That all ties into trying to hold on to himself and his perception of his self. The second one is they're after me. So that can be paranoia, that can be real or not, depending on how things play out. So the iconoclasts haven't made a move on him recently, and I don't think he knows why the iconoclasts were after his family in particular, which is probably something he'd like to look into. But so as I said, those are the two I have right now, and I think they're pretty simple.
And you have room for a third one, certainly. Mm-hmm. Talk about briefly what you think would challenge those in play.
Holding on to his humanity. Anything that might make it look like he's acting more like, I guess, an impassionate robot as compared to a human. What else could it be? If, for instance,
I was going to say maybe something that you have to do with one of your upgrades that like obscures some of your key human features.
True. There are many ways this could happen, I would think. Throughout the game, he could end up losing significant body parts or whatnot, and having to replace them with cybernetics, and that could bring it more to the front of how do you prove that you're human.
And what kind of thing would challenge this perception, your feeling that you're being hunted?
Well, I guess it could turn out that I'm not being hunted specifically.
Okay.
Or B, the other way around. I guess it could also be that it shows that they are after me. They got some elaborate plan to come after me for
Okay.
whatever reason.
Do you think either of those we hit last time?
Trying to remember. We had to go. Well, he's got a little bit of that last time that somebody is after him because his vehicle was being scanned. So he doesn't know who that was, though.
So that was confirmatory. Yeah. Did we? And I don't think we really hit on you yet putting in any cybernetics or having any effect with that yet. Okay.
No.
It was short, so might not have hit that. Let me actually jump back to JB. JB, did you think that we hit any of your beliefs last time?
I don't think so. I got a little paranoid about that woman bringing the wrong sort of attention from me, which is why I went into that analyze move, but I didn't get the feeling that the iconoclasts were actually there, and whatever trouble she brought with her, Prime obviously dealt with it easily. This isn't a real threat yet.
Yeah, I actually am going to give you 1 point for the hiding in the foreground, because clearly you got dragged into something unusual, in part because of your reputation that you've built and established.
Okay.
You thought it was good camo, but these things are going on. Let me talk to Prime. Prime, tell us about yourself, and then we'll talk about your beliefs.
Sure. So Prime is appears most of the time in the normal world as a loosely clothed, raggedy kind of clothing, and like a hooded robe kind of thing that you can't see into. In reality, whenever you get a glance, he's not human at all. He's a robotic body that has been modified. Whenever you in the veil, he appears as just kind of a thug. Think the generic Facebook face that you see whenever someone doesn't have any picture. It's the veil equivalent of that. It's just like a doll. But it's big, because I've gotten some lessons about how to appear intimidating in order to be a better bodyguard, which is how I earn my credits. And in general, Prime was a human whose mind was downloaded into a robotic body as an experiment, and some rebels broke him free, stole him from the government. So he is wanted by someone and doesn't know much about who his past self was.
When you picture yourself in your mind's eye, are you seeing a stranger? Are you seeing the robot? Are you seeing this avatar?
I think you're asking, what does Prime picture in his mind's eye?
Yeah.
Yeah. Prime pictures the robot itself and feels that body. However, whenever he's asked personal questions from people like, who do you love? Or tell me about your family, that suddenly flashes back to something else that's very vague at this point, and I think we'll figure out through play.
Okay. Talk to me about your beliefs.
So my first belief is, I believe that it's how he interacts with the world. He believes the veil and the people are one. This is, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. The second belief is how he interacts with others. He thinks everyone has lost a part of themselves, meaning that it's very similar to him. I picture Prime as having a very childlike view of the world. There's black and white, good and bad, and everyone must have also lost a part of themselves just like he has. They just probably didn't lose as much. And the last belief is who am I? I can find out more about who I used to be by observing and talking to others.
All right. how are you picturing those would be challenged in play?
Well, let's start with the last one because I can see that being challenged very easily. I think mainly through interpersonal communication with the other PCs. So I think that Aladdin and Prime can have discussions about humanity and what makes them each human. I think that Nabiyasu and Prime can have conversations about. So Nabiyasu has no cybernetics. Prime is completely cybernetics. And where the line falls between humanity there.
So let me ask you a question. So the way you phrased it is that you can learn more by interacting people.
Yes.
So challenging that would mean going and not learning, right?
Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm reading how you're imagining that.
So I can find more. Maybe that should be reworded. The third belief was mainly trying to give everyone a touch point that's something I wanted to explore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good direction. I just want to make sure that we've got something that we can challenge
right.
rather than just be confirmatory.
I think that if the move fails, so I have a specific move, how to discover memories and stuff like that, I think. And if that move fails, that we can describe either how that memory was lost or the vagueness of the memory.
Oh, okay. That seems good.
And that could be how talking to others and observing them didn't bring it back.
Okay. I like that you got nothing from them.
Yeah. Well, and also the obscurity of that memory. Because memories and dreams and that kind of stuff get all jumbled. So,
okay.
Interacting with others, I think everyone has lost a part of themselves. I think that can be, especially with Abiyasu, about how confident he is with being who he is and not having lost a part of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think there's a challenge there with Aladdin holding on to his humanity.
Okay, good, good.
And then the veil on the people being one, I think challenges there. I think that's Abiyasu definitely challenges that saying, no, these are completely separate things. So I think that's where I see as part of the challenges. Yeah.
Okay, great. That sounds good.
I have a couple of questions kind of mechanically.
Sure. Let's stop off to do that.
Since I only have a single stat, which is scared.
Yep.
I looked through the rules a little bit, trying to figure out what happens whenever I spike in scared, and I got through that. How does that get cleared? How does that go back down?
So there are two ways. Right now, you don't have the second option. The second option would be to use a different state. And as soon as you go and roll something with a different state at the -2 that you'd have with it, that will clear all the boxes from your spiked state. Other way that you can do it is you essentially keep rolling with that state. That's the way that you would work. And at the just +1, you'd be scared. You'd be rolling that at +1 when it's spiked. And you do that until each time you do that, you clear one box. As soon as all those boxes are cleared, you're considered unspiked at that point.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. The other option that people have is to kind of manage those things. This is something that is easy to miss in the rules. I think all of you know it, but I just want to reiterate. If you have a state that's getting high, if you roll an act and get yourself in the mood for the opposite state, you can use that each time you roll and mark that state. You actually reduce the track on the other state, on the opposite state.
So I have sort of a follow-up question there.
Yeah.
And I think Prime is sort of the perfect example of this. So Prime is scared. That's your state, right?
That's right.
So Prime is making all of their rolls with scared.
Yep.
until they spike out, when they're still making all of their rolls with scared. So is there some sort of difference there when you're spiked out? Are you like in an extremity of the emotion? How is him being spiked out any different than his normal state?
So that's a really interesting question. Mechanically, the game just has that it becomes a problem for trying to do anything else but be scared. The apparatus is odd because, of course, it at least at right now at this start only has one state, but we'll get others eventually.
And like I said, he's sort of an odd case, but I was just trying to use him to sort of spin out what does it mean when you're spiked out.
So besides the mechanical thing, I've always pictured that there's an intensity of reactions, that it is fiction that should color your responses, and for the GM side, any kind of soft moves that I'm throwing there should be through that lens. That's how I pictured it.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
That's my opinion. And that if you spiked out on scary and you wanted to do something brave, I would be pushing on you, poking you at that point.
Okay, thank you.
I was sort of assuming it was taking them to extremes, that if you're scared spiked out, you would be in panic, potentially. And
I think that could be your fiction for it, definitely.
Because the easy one is if your mad spikes out, you're basically in a berserk rage. Is what I would assume that happens. That you just gotten so over the top mad that you're uncontrollable.
Okay.
And I think that it's up to you to define those extremities and how you want to play those.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Stephen, did you have another question, Mechanical?
No, I think that everything else is pretty clear. So, because the apparatus is so strange and only has the single move, I think that my starting moves are basically how to research who I used to be and get hold that I can then spend on a separate move. That second move is I can then unlock a new emotion or gain advantage or have a question for my starting move.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. It would make me a little bit more mechanically normal than everyone else.
Yeah. Slowly over time.
Yes.
This definitely is. I haven't seen this playbook yet, so I'm very curious about how it plays out. All right. We have some people with start a session moves. Let's resolve those, and then I'm going to recap. Maria, I know you have one, right?
Yeah, let me roll 2d6.
Okay.
It's without a state, I believe.
I think so.
11, so I get 2 humanity.
Look at that.
So I now have 6.
You have a crazy amount of humanity.
Yeah.
And yet you're a brutal killer.
Yes.
All right. Who else has a start a session?
I do.
Okay.
So I got a 7. So this is the birth. At the beginning of each session, you are going to roll 2d6 without adding a state. If you get a hit, the MC will ask you a question. If it's a miss, something else happens.
Okay.
So there's a list of questions if you'll look on the page 2 of my sheet.
Yep.
And I think you ask me a question and I answer it.
So what? Well, we kind of know your purpose. I don't want to ask that. That's So were you, when you were brought to consciousness, rescued by that group, were you damaged in some way, or not? Were you pristine or damaged? How do you imagine it?
So what I imagine is basically what happened was whenever I was my first awakened, I had a singular purpose. This was, to protect, defend, to fight, to be a military thing. But I still had, human consciousness to kind of reason things out. But whenever the rebels took me, whenever they stole me, that's whenever something got damaged. And I started having flashbacks. And I'm very well aware now I'm a person. I used to be in a different body. I'm now in this robotic body, and I'm curious. I think that if I hadn't been taken by the rebels, I wouldn't be curious anymore. I think that whenever they took me, something changed. And I
Do you
think
think
that the original people would consider that as damage. Yes.
so? They would consider that damage. Do you think it was something that was done by those rebels, or it was just something that happened?
I think it was both. They were trying to reverse engineer what had been done. They didn't quite understand what was going on. They just knew this was a powerful weapon. And whenever they reverse engineered, they opened up the blocks that were preventing the curiosity and the memories from flooding back.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So, I think that's all the start session moves. Do we have any for the Katabalist or the Onomastic? Okay. So let me recap. We've got 2 scenes, if I recall correctly, going on. On the one hand, we have Nobu having rescued dragged out from our locale, having pulled Aladdin out. Aladdin didn't want to go. Aladdin banged himself up on the way out. Nobu was searching for a particular target, went to the bar that was associated with that target, and did not find the person there, but did manage to get into a bar brawl by pushing too far. The bartender didn't want to give up any information on Kata, the woman that you were looking for. Was clearly an important person at the bar. You think bar manager or owner, something like that, and managed to trigger off some essentially tavern goers who set upon Nobu. In parallel, Aladdin was doing his usual dumpster diving, using his scalpel to cut into these secure places. Got some good stuff. Sweet. Got that. Managed to pull it out. And when he returned back to his mobile food truck Ripper Dock station, saw somebody scanning it, chased after that person. And then that's when the paths crossed at the bar. Aladdin slipped strategically, and was rescued at that point. Wasn't able to catch the guy, but was able to damage the recording instrument that the guy had. And that guy took off in another direction, and you guys book off a ways away. And we'll probably take up with you at a safe place a little bit after that scene. Does that sound like I missed anything on your guys' side of things? Okay. So let's cut over to the other side of things. Prime was hired at the bar and was sent to be bodyguard to this woman. Didn't get the name, but we eventually put together 2 and 2, and it is Kata, the woman that has been set as Nobu's target. Stately woman, tall, red hair, a very, very fancy veil avatar that affects the area around it, that sort of high tier. People have different kinds of neurochips. That forms a kind of stratification, a kind of class thing. The better your neurochip, the more you see. And in some cases, the better your neurochip, the more that you can have a more beautiful avatar, one that does extra effects and things like that. So there's a real status and tiering thing there. Went with this woman to be bodyguard and went to Bombshell, which of course is the onomastic JB's place. JB had already spoken with this woman earlier on. and she had pushed hard to get her avatar changed and changed quickly. When JB got her to the chair, JB discovered that this is a very, very high-end avatar, and also that it had been laced with some kind of cyber essentially software black virus that he started to isolate even as the place was being attacked by some kind of mercenary who came across and was going to essentially fire off a kind of a soft bomb into the place where you were. So that's the point at which Prime was able to deal with the threat, even as JB removed this black program and was able to isolate it. Prime took out the attacker, and then the attacker took off. Prime was doing bodyguard duties, so did not pursue, and essentially probably walks back through the broken door back into Bombshell there. Did I miss anything key on that discussion there?
I don't think so.
Okay. So let's start back then. Nobu, what's a safe place that you would have taken off to like, do what you need to do next, speak with Eladine, whatever?
My apartment.
Okay. So there is a drag. What floor are you on in your apartment building?
From second up.
Okay.
Somewhere not too high, but not like the first level.
Okay. So you still got to get up a couple of flights of stairs to get that. Eladine, at which point do you kind of try to get out of the grip of Nobu here?
Pretty quickly, because I imagine it was almost immediate to like shrug it off and walk on his own. Because he wants to get back to his workshop. He wants to move his workshop because since it's been scanned.
So I think a good compromise is, let's say that you guys are kind of outside of Nobu's apartment building when you kind of finally stop to face on this.
All right.
I had it all under control. What were you doing? I needed to get the scanner.
I was at a job. And obviously you did not have it all under control. You would have been wrecked by those guys.
You don't know that. I distracted them. They were going to go to somebody else. They were going to attack the person that was scanning me. He scanned my workshop. Why? Why would somebody be scanning me?
That's a good question. I do not know the answer.
I need to get back to my workshop before they do something else.
Actually, can you help me?
Me? Help you?
Yeah.
He sort of rubs his hands. What do you need?
Can you track someone?
Probably. Who?
I described the person. The description of Kata, basically.
Did you give the name too?
Yeah.
Okay. So she again, Nobu turns on a dime from arguing with you to "I need your help." There. I can't remember if Nobu has Giri on you or not.
Nobu
does.
one Giri.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I have one Gary on Nobu. So.
Okay. So she's.
I mean, I could argue that I got another Giri on him from getting it out of the bar. I could argue that.
That's certainly a possibility.
You could try.
I could try.
I would say because he doesn't feel like he wanted to be rescued there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But do you want to lean on him? Do you want to use your Giri to get him to do this tracking thing?
Sure.
Okay. So she's pushing on you to do that.
Well, I think no. I have to go back to my workshop. If we go back to my workshop, I can do it better there.
All right, I'm coming with you.
Okay.
All right.
So you kind of get what you want there a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys will head back. It's not that far away. He didn't run that far. Describe to me again when we come in the scene. Has Nobu been to your workshop before?
Probably, since I know your face.
Probably.
But also, it would look sort of different because veil stuff.
I don't know how different it would actually look.
Well, true.
So what does it look like?
Well, I'm picturing it looking as sort of like a beat up. We talked about like the floating vendor stalls from Fifth Element and stuff like that. So I'm picturing it being sort of beat up on the outside. On the inside, it's probably clean but scrappy. So lots of used stuff that he put together. So it might have a monitor screen, or well, I guess it wouldn't have a monitor screen, but lots of stuff that's like sort of cracked or scratched, but workable.
And one of the things I imagine is that there are neighborhood beautification program agents that essentially put a temporary veil over your vehicle to make it look nicer, just to bring down the property values here. So I imagine that they have those. Some of them are probably pretty racist in different neighborhoods, but they've got all kinds of things. The veil is very much an independent thing to make everything look good for everybody.
Except Nobuyasu doesn't see that shit. So
yeah, you see the shitty broken down truck.
Yeah, you see it for what it is, and I don't think that Aladdin would put anything into trying to disguise it necessarily.
Right.
Maybe he just sort of like lets the beautification projects map over it whenever they want as sort of part of the disguise.
There's probably, when you get in, there's probably those adverts that go, if you like this shell, click here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And I picture every once in a while Aladdin having problems finding the door because it's shifted from what the image is showing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Aladdin, you want to make a move here, right? To try and research here. That does sound like we're going to be doing a lift the veil move on that.
Okay, and I think that's going to be with. I think he's going to be pretty confident about this one.
Oh yeah.
So he'd be powerful. I think my stats are strange. Plus, there's supposed to be 1 + 2, correct? Yeah. Okay,
yes.
That's powerful. Okay. Ooh, ouch.
So what did you get? I
got a 6.
Got a 6.
Even with a +2, I got a 6. That hurts.
Wow. Okay. So you go to check on this. I mean, one of the things is, of course, it flashes back, and you will see that Kata is associated with that bar, that 14 Edge bar, but not much else. Very little other info on her. She clearly has done some stuff to keep herself off the net. But you get that ping that you sometimes have gotten when you look for somebody and people are monitoring for people who are searching for that person. And you get that ping of people recording that you were looking for her. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Your interest has been noted and recorded, and somewhere someone out there is putting those 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, so I think Aladdin is going to quickly try and like set up a shell game so that it looks like he's coming from someplace else.
Okay. Kind of doing that, but we'll cut away from that moment. You've put this thing in a data jar somewhere. Got that box sealed up, held, and your door is gone.
So I wanted to take a moment real quick to say something
Sure.
to Christo, just to remind you of the true name and components move, because I do have some components on you. I don't think I would have been totally into you helping you find her right then, but I do have components that I can use over any distance to help you out in a variety of ways. So if you want to call that in, just work like a call to JB into the fiction or some sort of emergency message or something, and I can send through some help to you.
Nice.
So yeah, in the scene, I think I like finish locking that flash drive basically into this black box, put it to the side where it's sort of like it has power meter LEDs on the side that are sort of going crazy, because you said this thing was still really powerful after I drew it out. She is in the chair there, like I think gasping and bleeding a little bit from the shoulder where I had stabbed her. It's not too bad. It was just a stun wound. And so I throw some gauze at her and be like, here, just quiet yourself and sit there for a moment. I will be right back. I will be with you. Just stop whining. And I go out the front. Prime, honey, is there any more of my building you want to kick the shit out of? Where are you?
So I think this is whenever I step back from the street and I crunch through the remains of the door and the front window and all.
Oh, no, that's good. That wasn't salvageable anyways. Thank you.
And I kind of tip my head, sure. And I kind of go back to the doorway to the back and turn back around on guard again.
So that's all right. That's all the explanation you have. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. I'll just pull out my extra front door.
Well, it's much better than having to pull out your extra shop whenever it gets blown up.
Are you blowing up my shop? What's happening, Prime?
No, there was a gentleman coming into the shop at high rate of speed that had a bomb.
Fine, and you kicked the door into his face, I assume?
Sure.
We'll go with that. Well, I'll get back to you on the door. Will you be quiet back there? I will be with you.
It is unlikely we are in a secure situation. I would encourage you to hurry up so that we can go to a safer location.
Thank you so much for your insight. It is wildly appreciated. You just stay here and watch this unbroken door and see if you can't find creative ways to crack it in half. I'll be back with you. And I go back into the room with Kata.
She has smartly put the gauze on. She clearly knows what she's doing. And she says, I will pay for your door. Call whoever you want, and I'll have the cred arranged. And you can do that ASAP, all right?
Oh, trust me, you're already going to be paying more than we talked about. Now, let's get that troublesome face off of you.
See her hesitate, but she clearly really wants this changeover. So she leans back in the chair for you to do your avatar work there.
So yeah, I believe she had given me like a template or sort of an idea of the mousy little thing that she wanted.
Yep, most definitely.
So yeah, I'll start pulling down implements that start hacking into and reforming her veil information.
What do you want to do with her previous veil image? Do you want to just rework it? Do you want to copy and save it? Do you want to do something else?
I mean, that virus that was embedded in it certainly caught my attention.
Right.
But I also think like the intricate nature of how it interacted with the veil around it, and specifically those lava lamp eyes. I really like those, and I wouldn't mind saving some of that to look into and maybe like copy later on.
Okay.
So I think she's going. I'm sorry.
If you'd like, you could copy that onto Prime. He is a bodyguard and could be a decoy.
Oh, that's nice. I like that a lot, actually. That'll be a good revenge. So yeah, I'll save that in a less secure folder.
Okay.
And I think when we're done with her, we'll try and find a nice, insultingly surprising way to slap that on Prime.
And you're quite good. So, but you do have to wrestle with some of the proprietary stuff, the proprietary locks and code on this thing to get it and get it stored away. But you've probably got some experience with hacking the user agreements on these things and moving them off. And you can certainly get her changed over. Is there anything I should know? Are you just doing exactly what she asked for? Or are you doing anything else I should know about with this?
Well, she had wanted to keep the lava lamp eyes, and I really think like the whole incredibly mousy look she has doesn't quite jive with that. So I'm adding a little bit more color in, maybe some better makeup than she was thinking of. Definitely the hair has to be. We can go with a mousy brown, but something a little stylish. I'm making tweaks and
Okay.
definitely inserting things along the way.
Earlier, before the building was attacked, she might have argued with you, but she doesn't argue with you at all. Prime, is there anything else you're doing while you are waiting and watching?
So I could. The only thing, basically, I've been hired to do a job. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I may investigate her a little bit to see what I've gotten myself into. Is there any way I could access the Veil to see more, the public information on her, sort of like a phone book kind of thing?
Sure. Do you want to do that as a lift the veil move, or do you want me to just give you some basic info?
Sure, I'll do a lift the Veil move.
Okay, let's have you roll then.
Yeah. And that is with scared.
Yep.
So that'll be an 8.
Okay. So you get that a couple of things. One is that she's clearly the manager / owner of that 14 Edge bar, and that's for as good as her appearance looks and the money she's throwing around. She clearly has other businesses, because that bar certainly wouldn't support that kind of lifestyle. But she's also done a good job of keeping other details obscured, and so you won't get that much else on her. It's very basic info.
So is it basically the kind of obscuring? Does it seem like something that someone from business would do, or does it seem like someone from military would do? I think I could tell a little bit of the flavor. Like, is it a black hole, or is it a
No, it's definitely not a black hole. It's the kind of scrubbing that you pay essentially ident scrubbers to go and clean up stuff, to do reputation manipulation and those kinds of things. They're probably people that just do that kind of corrections.
So that answers my question. She's big money. She's not military. That would involve these bomb people. Got it.
Absolutely. It does seem very unusual. I'm going to cut back to the food truck. I'm just going to call it that from now on. And you said you were going to do something. You're going to try and create an obscurement.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but and while he's doing this, he's going to be chewing out Numbo. What the fuck? What'd you do? You need to warn me when it's something like that. She was disappeared.
What?
Somebody was covering her, erasing her.
I did not know that. I was just told to beat her up, and that's what I'm getting paid for.
Okay. Well, my Geary is paid to you then, because we have to get out of here. I have to move my truck quickly while trying to redirect that trace back. You might want to go outside and make sure nothing's coming in.
Okay, you're not leaving without me.
No.
Okay, so yeah, I do as he says.
Okay. Do you get on the running board of the car, stand on the side, or do you get into the cab of the vehicle? How do you stick along?
I guess I'm not sure what you mean. Like, what part of the car I'm going?
Yeah,
out?
like they're probably what like a stepping board on the side, that you can hang on to handles there and
Yeah.
ride on that? Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. So that gives you some area to see. Your can hang on with one hand, keep your other hand free if you need it.
Yeah.
And you look styling when you do it, of course.
Yes.
That's as important.
Yes.
Let's have to see what actually is going to happen here. Let's have Aladdin roll risk.
Oh my.
This is to kind of throw people off your tail here.
You're muted.
Yeah, no, I was trying to figure out what he's feeling right now. I want to say that he's
Probably
I
mad.
don't know if it's powerful. Yeah, actually, you're right. He's probably really mad at this point.
Don't forget, if you roll a
He's gonna
6
get that
minus,
spiked.
don't forget to mark experience.
Oh, I think you just spiked that right now. Mad.
Did I? Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm spiking.
Okay.
Well, after this roll, you would spike.
Yes.
But
Yeah, because oh, actually, no. I made a mistake because I rolled powerful, so I didn't realize powerful was the opposite of mad. So I should have downgraded mad.
no, it's not.
It's not?
And also, I don't know if we downgrade because the book itself doesn't say to downgrade, and then the new character sheet don't have really opposites.
Oh, that's right.
The book,
wheel-
the opposites are different. They're paired on the character sheets.
Yeah, they are.
Because the
Yeah.
ones the ones I have don't have that pairing off.
Yeah.
They were updated. Yeah, they were paired off, and the wheel doesn't map the same way as these do. That's
Yeah.
right. So scared is the opposite. You're right. I actually did max out, so I'm spiked.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Get to experience that.
Yeah.
I actually in the playbook's making it look like it happens right.
Well,
So
you
I mark
do
it
roll
after
for
the move?
roll. Yep. You always mark after you roll.
Okay. Oh, it's not letting me
Yeah.
take it off. Oh no. Okay.
I mean, what's your mad normally?
0.
Okay, so just roll 2d6, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just roll 2d6 and I guess -1 because if it's going to be showing me spiking. So
No,
So-
I think it's just 0 for now.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
10.
roll.
good.
Yeah, you rolled straight 2d6. You got a 10. What is it that your anger? How does it make you? I mean,
Oh, I'm redirecting. I'm going to send this trace back to that bar, 14 Edge. Let them think it came from there. That
Okay.
will keep those people busy.
yeah, and you are fueled by anger, which
Mhm.
is Sherry has always told me is the best way to do computer work. It's the most effective thing. So you will send that back, and you can take off. So you're pretty sure you're in the clear as you drive away. Are you doing anything in particular? Calling anybody?
I don't think so at this point. I think now his goal is to get someplace safe, where he thinks is safe, so that he can, he just got the junkware, so he wants to use it also. So he's going to want to
Okay.
go someplace safe. So maybe he'll go to JB's place. Maybe this is when he would want to go there because he might feel that he's sort of safe in that area.
That sounds good. So you take off. Nobu, as you are taking off and cruising away, kind of take a look down a few blocks. One of the nice things, of course, about having no neurochip is you can probably see further because there's not all the obscurements and lights and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you will see that there are some vehicles. You're not sure whether they're police or something else. Like 3 of those pulling up to the bar as you are tooling away.
Well, shit. I'm gonna get back in the car.
Okay, clamber around, get back in, and
Yes.
you guys can head off.
All right.
Um,
What's your plan now? I asked Aladdin.
I want to go to the bombshell. I feel safer there. I need some time. I need to rework some of this junkware. I've got this new idea.
All right. I guess JB can help me with his knowledge of names, I guess, and components. Whatever the hell that actually does.
That's Nobu's reaction to a lot of things. Whatever the hell
that does.
is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Perfect. Let me do a little bit with JB and Prime, and then we'll smash these two scenes together. So JB, you will get this done, and she will stand up and admire your handiwork. It's a little more flashy than I'd imagined.
Well, I mean, you're the one that wanted to keep those eyes, and you don't have those sort of eyes and that face that you presented me, but this is sort of believable. I could buy this.
Okay. And she will start to essentially to pull out payment that she gives to you, and she essentially pulls out the equivalent of like little untraceable gift cards that she essentially burns each of them into your thing. So
the future black market is paid with Amazon gift cards.
Yes. But she does that and pays you off through what is very clearly a set of stages to make sure that money is not traceable. And then she'll do one more for the tip.
And while I was working over on her, this is a salon, and I do sort of that sort of business with the public. I was sort of trying to chat her up, get in with her as I'm like leaning in close and reprogramming parts of her veil and stuff, and try and see if I can work out any sort of information about her, or especially what might have just kicked the shit out of my door.
This is a perfect opportunity to do that chatting. I mean, and it's that kind of habit for any person who's been at, the barber or the salon when you're there for a long time and the person is talking at you. Eventually you have to respond. You can't maintain stoic silence for 3 hours or whatnot. Even my wife has to chat at that point. So anyone. So let's what do you want to roll with this probe roll?
Let me look at that wheel.
Look at that wheel.
Wow. Okay, I think it's gonna be peaceful. It's that sort of like I'm trying to get across that relaxed, serene, sort of trusting, like she just wants to sit here amongst the slowly settling debris and really lean back and feel good about herself.
Okay.
Now, I'm terrible at that, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh.
Wow. Yep, so that's a 4.
So she does keep quiet. She babbles on about the most mundane things. She's very clearly good at circular small talk. That she anything that gets personal, she cycles it back to, oh, did you see the latest gravitars that they put out for people's idents, and they've got this new lenticular stuff, and she talks about the new arboreum that they're putting in the city square and things like that. She evades that. She complains about the new agent resistant pop-up ads and those kinds of things.
Okay,
but she won't give anything away.
So I think as she's handing over the gift cards, JB has sort of like a sulky look on his face. Like that was supposed to work.
And you definitely, after having this conversation with her, you're starting to get a little more than a little nervous. Like the door's off its hinges. This woman has paid you in anonymous black currency. She's a professional at evading conversations. And she's got one of your friends as a robot bodyguard. This does not seem good at all.
Yeah,
that's not even counting the black box over here.
I think it's time to be rid of this whole problem. I need to / want to look into that black box before it gets sort of critical. So I'm going to lean out. Prime, sweetie, how's that door doing? Have you felt the need to kick down any interior walls yet?
The building is still intact. I have assessed no further danger at this point. So how's it going back there?
It's wonderful. As you can see, and I'll swish aside a curtain, your new client awaits you right here. And I understand you may be distressed. You were hired to protect a certain person, and she is no longer here. But worry not, Prime, sweetie. I have you covered. And JB will come forward with a tiara, like full-on sparkling multi-tiered tiara. And put it on Prime's head there under the robe as Prime's whole veil shifts to what Kata was wearing when she came in. See your client right here, still there for you to protect.
Kata goes, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
So I was hired to protect you. It might be better if they don't know which one of you it is. If I take the tiara off, does it go away?
Yeah, it's tied in unless there's something hinky with that veil covering itself.
That's fine.
So I think I'll take off the tiara and kind of put it into one of the mini pockets that's around and say this is backup in case we get jumped again.
All right.
JB will continue to pout. No one appreciates my efforts.
And she goes, all right. Well, the sooner we get out of here, the better. And she'll turn to the front door just as Nobu and Aladdin are walking up. And so
I think that Prime states to her as she turns away, I think JB might need extra for the additional work that he did.
She looks at you. I have already tipped him more than enough.
Okay. Good. Good to know.
And so you two will see JB's door is gone off the hinges. You can see he's in there. He's arguing with this mousy woman with these awesome lava lamp eyes.
I don't see the lava lamp eyes though. What does she actually look like?
She looks like a tall redhead who's wearing kind of light body armor.
Okay, so I'm like, damn. Okay.
Doesn't the face doesn't look like the face that you were given though?
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, just a.
But I do see the body armor in like this person, so yeah.
Yeah. And you'll see Prime is there.
Oh, hey, Prime.
Nobuyasu.
Yes.
What are you doing here?
I'm
on a job.
Oh, so am I.
No, please just come in. The door's open, I guess.
Obviously.
I turn to Katya and I say, would you like to wait around and see if these people can help us, or are you ready to leave?
I don't want to raise a ruckus, so if you need to chat with your associates, go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So, Aladdin, you wanted something? Oh, I need to talk to JB specifically as well.
Yeah, and I think Aladdin is just going to sort of like, enough with the pleasantries. I need to get some work done and sort of push back because he's furiously mad at all of this still. So, and you said I'm glad you've got an open door policy. About time. Like walks through the crack and stepping on the glass or whatever's there.
Please use all of the resources you need. I'm sure your rent check is in the mail.
That's it. He'll
Don't
give
worry
you the
about
finger.
that. He had a bad day.
He's going to give you the finger as he walks by.
And you'll set to junk wearing in the back.
Yes.
All right.
Tush, you hear that sounds. What does it sound like? Look like when you're doing that?
Oh, it's something that will just totally drive JB crazy, of course, because it's not going to have all the nice sound effects that he has when he does his work, right? It's going to be like the metal scraping. You're going to hear like a buzzsaw starting up, and it's going to, the sparks are going to be flying a little bit. So, and he'll be cursing as he does it, of course.
Nice.
Kata kind of looks and just crosses her arms and waits, clearly uncertain about what the deal is here.
He does that. And that's his hobby, I guess.
It's good to have a hobby.
Yeah. JB, I need some help.
Please, it's the day for it. Apparently, what can we do for you today here at Bombshell?
And I think Aladdin will have heard that, and he said, "Be careful, JB. Her help gets you in trouble."
His,
Yeah.
Well, I've been hired to look for someone, and
And you've been hired to look for them? Sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
yeah. And then I start describing Kata and say her name. Oh, her name is Kata. She has so level ambies, special effects.
Mm.
And this woman slides over behind Prime.
And I think Prime kind of starts backing out the door and says, we need to go.
And that's the perfect time to do the bio break. All right. So 5 minutes. All right.
So awkward and amazing at the same time.
All right. Back in 5.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be curious how the spike out mechanic works with the sheet.
Am I your first victim?
This is the first person who's spiked out with the Roll20 sheets. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so I guess it does take into account. So I marked it before I did the roll, and it didn't do anything to the roll.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not sure how that plays out. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll.
Oh wait,
check
what's? Yeah. So how does it do it?
There's
Ah,
on
there's
your
a special
character
button.
sheet.
Got it.
Yeah.
Ah,
there's a
yeah.
special button.
Spiked. Okay.
Yeah, and it automatically filled with mad. So
Nice.
Sorry.
I like that system.
yeah, the sheets work well.
Yeah. Not like the Godbound sheets where the calculations are wrong.
Yeah.
I wish I knew enough, of that programming language to be able to fix things, but it's a little outside my depth.
I don't have him. I can't afford Pro. I'm already like, I'm paying for the Gauntlet, so I can't really afford Roll20.
Yeah. No, I started it and I can't bring. I've gotten sucked down that loop where I started paying for it a long time ago, and then I kind of I don't want to downgrade. I've got a bunch of stuff stored, so.
I did get Plus for a while, but then I figured I'm not even using half of these things anyway, so might as well not. Yeah.
For me, it's the storage space of the assets, which if I was intelligent, I could get around that problem. So, but anyway, so let me frame this scene. We've got this salon. The door is off. Got sort of an entry area I'm picturing. We've got the actual workspace. There's the door to the back, but there's also the back office that we've got. Aladdin working at one of those tables, doing that. We've got Prime by the back door. Kata is kind of moving over there. And we've got Nobu and JB speaking. JB, you're sort of the crux of all of this at this point. The one who has all of the pieces. What do you do and or say?
So yeah, why not? As they're backing up, she's sort of backed up behind Prime, and he's sort of whoa. JB, he's going to surreptitiously lift his hand and twist it a little as he looks over to the side and mutters a few commands to the system in here. And I want to use one of my true name components on Aladdin here.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna spend one of them. Yeah. So roll plus components. So this won't really be scared. It's just my +1.
Right.
Damn it.
13.
Windows.
Nice.
Wow.
Does this mean I pop out of a bottle or something like that?
Well, I get 3 hold, which is I'll just spend 1 for now. As I'm going to interfere with what you're doing without regard for distance or barriers. So as things are getting sort of tense and people are staring at each other, I think there's this veil power surge blink, and there's a sound from the back room. Oh no, my dear friend Aladdin seems to have run into problems. Hold on, Aladdin, we'll be right with you. Don't worry. Prime, you probably need to move along. This is
What the bullshit? There's nothing going on there. Because I don't see the veil, so I can't see what just happened.
Well, you may hear like the
Yeah, you will
whining
definitely hear the
instrument.
surge.
I don't know.
Oh,
Does
okay.
Paladine yell or anything?
Okay, then never mind. Then I don't say that.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're saying like things that start going ballistics or whatever saw he's using like picks up speed, then yeah, you will hear cursing and like what the and probably like JB, what is wrong with this place? What have you been doing?
Oh no, the door seems to have been connected to several vital systems. What could have gone wrong? Why don't you two just go along now?
So I think what happens at this point is Prime basically drops into whatever the equivalent of an instant message is. There's basically the resume of Nobu that pops up on JB and Kata's vision, and then underneath a prompt that says "command?"
What?
So she'll do. It'll take her a second to realize that Nobu can't see that, and that
which is in the basic resume, right?
Okay. Oh
wait, actually, Nobu, is that common knowledge?
What?
That you cannot see the veil, or is that something hidden?
Well, the bard thought that I was like high end avatar, so I don't think it's common knowledge that there's like maybe I will say that the underworld might say like there's this guy who doesn't see the veil and that's how he hunts things. He doesn't, because he can't see the veil, he knows exactly who he's looking for at all times.
Okay, then she doesn't get that information. Basically, it just pops up that this is a bounty hunter and basic job.
This woman says she types back to you and she says, I'd like to chill, stand our ground. I don't want to get your friend JB in any more trouble than I've already gotten him.
And I think the message comes back commendable. And I kind of stand there and say, I think I'll tell her, get a car, get an exit car to wait on the street for us.
Okay. She says, essentially text you, are you going to handle this then?
Don't leave yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So she will call for an Uber, essentially.
Yeah.
Robo Uber. So are you going to go talk to Nobu then, or?
So I think so far what's happened is that Nobu's described that she's on a hit. She's asking JB about some information.
Right.
About how to find this person. I don't really have any clear information to talk to Nobu about. JB has all of the information and he's in the back room.
Okay, so before we come back to you, Nobu, I want to check in, see what JB is doing, and then I want to check in with you. Does that sound okay? JB, so you step to the back room. What do you say to Aladdin?
Oh no, you seem to have plugged that in upside down. Here, let's just plug that over into this one. This plug's not having any circuit problems. There, everything seems to be better. What is Nobu doing here?
He came with me. What's it to you? You two get along?
I get along with people that are paying me and not conflicting with my other paying customers. That's who I get along with.
What's he conflicting with?
That's none of your business.
Well, what the hell do you want me to do?
I just needed a moment to think. Are you done with that yet?
I guess that's a good question. Am I done with that yet?
Well, let's have you make that roll, and then I'm going to cut back to Nobu.
Okay, let's see. So I guess it doesn't matter. So I guess I'm working mad. This is...
No, you roll Omni Tool.
Oh, that's right. Ooh, so that's interesting. So if everything else gets a, do I take a -2 to it? Oh, I know it doesn't get spiked, but does it? It's not a state.
Not a state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I guess that should be my other category then.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think because I've got that other category state down there. But then will it -1 it probably?
Well, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and with an Omni tool, let's see, and I get +1 forward from my last move, the scrounge move, because I did well, and add
I
+1
think
to the roll list otherwise stated. Okay.
I think JB, does feel bad about you came here to work on your project and he's messing with it without telling you why. So I'll spend another one of my hold to give you a +1 forward there.
+3 then.
Wow.
As JB will sort of point out, like, oh, don't you think you want to try that wire over there?
Okay, so and how I was going to ask me for a modifier. Let's see. No, it didn't. That didn't work, right? How did that work?
Oh, because you you can't put the plus inside the box. Remember?
I didn't.
It just says ++1, so it screws up the entire formula.
I didn't put a plus inside the box. I just put a 1.
Then I don't know what's going on.
Okay, then I'll just roll regular.
Yeah, just do /roll plus 2d3, 2d6 plus 3.
2d3.
Yeah. 0. That would be like a first, wouldn't it? Do I get 2 XP?
No.
14.
Wow. So what does that do? What do you create? What does it look like?
Okay, on a 10+, I get to choose 2. So when you utilize your Omni tool to take your junkware and modify it into cybernetics, you then incorporate it into yourself. You do so and add. Okay, so then of the 3 options, you do so and add 1 tag to describe it. It does not require a negative tag, or it does not harm you. And so is the harm is that as I'm inserting it, or is it every time I use it, sort of thing? Do you know?
When you insert it.
That's what I was hoping. Okay. I'll take the other 2 then. So
Okay.
I'll let it harm me as I insert it because I'm mad. So I'm like, like shoving it into my arm is what I think I'm doing. I think this is going to be something in my arm.
Okay.
It doesn't go into much detail on it, but what I was hoping to do, remember, if I was trying to make something that would be sort of disruptive to the veil, which I think then would be very effective against the iconoclasts. So I was looking to make sort of a close range weapon.
Okay. Yeah. Let's think about. We'll think about what the tags are going to be on that. But yeah, I think you can do that. Get something inserted, kind of an EMP for the veil. Okay.
Messy EMP. I want it to be messy.
Close, messy. Good. Oh, good. You don't have to take the negative tag though with that roll if you're doing that choice.
That's right. I did have that, so I guess I could take no harm instead. I sort of want it to be messy because I want to shoot it at them and have them sort of like unravel.
I mean, you don't.
Well, messy means that if you screw it up, that everybody takes the hit.
Yeah, with that roll, it's okay. I won't make it messy then. Let's take it. No negative tags, I guess.
But will it affect Nobu?
Okay. No.
So it's like hit everything except Nobu.
Right. So like it's great if you like go into a fight, then I can like protect you.
Okay. Nobu, those 2 tech geeks are out back talking. The robot is here. His client is calling for a car. What do you want to do? There's also why the door is off its hinges.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Prime what the fuck happened. Like, why is the door there? I point to the rubble.
That's a good question. I was in here with JB. He was working back in the lab whenever a thug came up and I had to hit them real hard. The door got in the way.
Okay.
So
I'm just like awkwardly looking.
in fact, you're good at finding people. This guy just ran off, and I had to stay here to make sure that nobody else came after, the place and tried to hurt it, and this guy was a distraction. But I described this guy to you to see if you know anything about him. But I'm probably describing him the way he looked in the veil.
Yeah, that's not gonna help me.
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, and I can't really look for him for another 42 hours. I I need to find this kata person.
Hmm.
As she is looking awkwardly, I
Yep.
suppose.
She is kind of probably now moved over to the the waiting area with the magazines, the vid magazines and things, and is kind of just hanging out there waiting for the car to show up. So you get that put together. There, Aladdin, JB, people are still out there in your front room.
Violence is imminent.
I'll come back out. Oh, good. They're still here. That's wonderful. So I am so sorry about all of that distraction. Nobu, honey, you said you were looking for something.
Someone.
Someone. Even better. I've always thought you should try and settle down and find someone. That special someone just for you.
Don't play dumb.
Fine. Look, if you're not in the mood for banter, your analog rig is still set up in the back corner of the office. Is there anything I can do to help you?
I need to find this kata person. I've already explained.
So let's look into it together, shall we?
All right.
All right. So you'll take her back to help her do the hunt. Help him. God, I'm sorry.
Help.
Yeah. The car will pull up. Kata looks at you, Prime.
And I think it's time for us to leave. I'll just say goodbye, JB.
I'll bill you for the door later.
She will go with you out the front door, and she will say to you, "How well do you know that, Nobu?"
Nobu is very good at his job, and you are in a great deal of danger.
Can he be bought off?
I don't think Nobu can be bought off. What would I know about Nobu?
Nobu takes his job seriously, but he's kind of pissed right now because it's not going exactly according to plan. So you're not sure.
Yeah. I've never seen Nobu be bought off. But the better way to go after this is Nobu respects strength and honor. If you can demonstrate that, and that his current clients are not worthy, then Nobu might be more likely to be influenced.
Well, then why don't we go back in there and explain the situation to him?
Are you saying that you have strength and honor and that the people encountering you do not?
I don't think anybody in this situation has honor at this point.
Fantastic. I think by walking back in and talking to him, you will be displaying strength and honor. So that's a good idea.
All right.
So we are at the door to the car having this little silent conversation, which looks really awkward to Nobu, right?
But Nobu's already gone in the back.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm already gone with JB helping me.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So I think that at that point, there's this awkward conversation. I say, if you want an escape vector, leave the car here. But if you want to prove your honor, you can let it go.
She goes, "If I leave the car here, I'll run. So I'm going to send it away."
Okay. And then I think the two of us can walk back in.
Okay. So you've got this thing installed, Eladine, and it's pretty sweet. Got that zapper for the Veil immediate area. Probably don't want to fire it off here in JB's business.
Please.
Especially with the door blown off.
Anyway, JB takes Nobu back to a a non-neurochipped display. It has a monitor
Oh my.
and a keyboard and a mouse.
Ooh, creepy.
It's the most retro thing you've seen in years. And JB, you can get her settled, him settled in there. What are you trying to do?
I mean, I'm trying to keep Nobuyasu from finding out anything solid about her.
All right.
So you're doing the computer stuff. Let's get this set up. Let's get this going, and you will hear the clank of.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. I want to amend that slightly because I saw a little of what she was working with, and I don't really immediately fear that Nobu's going to crack all of her secrets on this like ancient rig here. So instead, I'm there. I'm doing that salon talk sort of thing. I'm like looking like I'm helping Nobuyasu, but I'm sort of trying to get him to open up, distract a little bit, but get him to open up. I'm questioning him about, so, you know, I've kept this rig for you here. It's plugged in and sucking up so much power, but you've never actually told me why you, you have your little interface difficulties. Was it a birth thing, like
No, I just
like
chose
Aladdin?
I chose to.
Oh, it just woke up one morning and decided, the future. Who needs it?
I don't like it.
Oh, you're delightfully taciturn.
Meanwhile, I'm working on the computer. A bit distracted, but I'm still working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to do a lift the veil, or should we just cut to the return of Prime? Which would you prefer, Nobu?
I think. I mean, I could lift the veil.
Sure. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I could, if that seems appropriate.
Well, it's up to you. It's whether you want to do that or you want to cut to Prime coming back with her.
I think I'll cut back to Prime since I don't think it's super relevant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there'll be that clank as Prime returns back. You always hear him moving.
Okay.
You always hear the sound of him. Other people, the veil conceals both the visual and auditory, but you always hear him.
All right.
And that woman is with him, and she said, looks at Prime, and she says,
Prime
Mr. Nope.
will make an introduction. Prime will turn to Nobuyasu and say, Nobuyasu, I would like for you to meet Kata. Kata, Nobuyasu.
Oh,
And then she
for
can
the
talk.
love of all.
Is she what you're supposed to be guarding?
I kind of turned to Kata to let her speak because I think I interrupted her.
I hired your friend Prime as a bodyguard.
Yes, and you do know that I'm after you.
Yes, but I don't want these people to get caught in whatever is going on. Don't want them
Or
to get
this
tangled up.
salon.
Or this salon. Given that this has already led to the door getting knocked off, I don't want this to have to go any further.
I'm pretty sure we're already super involved with this since, you showed up. Care to explain?
Which part is the care that you want me to explain?
Everything.
Why don't you start with why someone would hire Nobu to kill you? Is that
No, it wasn't to kill. It was just to rough her up.
okay? Not get information, not get money, just beat her up. Why is that?
That I'm going to admit I'm not sure. And I'm not being obscurant. And she'll look at JB like, I'm not trying to create problems here. Looks at you. She says, I was threatened not with being beaten up, anything like that. I was given a more lethal warning yesterday, and I've been on the move since then. I didn't know that anybody was hired just to rough me up, because people that are after me, that's not what they want.
Do they want you dead, or do they want your money?
I think they want me dead. I crossed a philosophical boundary with them. I think that's the best way I can put that. Look, they came to me and they made it clear that I needed to be taken out. And I may have had mechanisms in place to make sure that they couldn't do that at that moment, and got out of there.
Tell me more.
I think the kind of information we're looking for is who is more how powerful are these people? Can you tell us anything about them?
All right. Is this place secure? She'll look at JB. She looks at Aladdin. They both look tech.
I look at the front door and shake my head. Give me a minute, and I'll go back into my office where Nobu and I just came from, and there's like this big lever under the desk that I'm gonna pull it and start typing a couple commands into things as like security shielding, not like bomb shielding, but
Right.
like slightly higher than like mall security gate sort of things that come down over shops, come down, and I'll start trying to work up some cyber security as well.
So I deal in illicit goods, and I have been working with some people who have been developing some new substances that interact with your experience of the Veil. Neurotransmitters, things to enhance interactivity and change it up, essentially kind of breaking the terms of service of some of the Veil stuff. I have some suppliers that have been gathering that for me. I have a network on that. That's my bread and butter, is moving those things along. Yesterday, I was visited by someone who claimed to be part of something called the Brothers of the Veil. They said that I was disrupting the Veil, and that was a heresy, and they made it clear that they were going to kill me then. They had a guy with them who looked like some kind of leader of this, and I had some security that I had laid in place. I was able to essentially Faraday cage him for a bit to lock him down, and I got out of there.
So I think as soon as she starts talking about like this sort of religious aspect and the Brotherhood, JB is just cursing to herself in the background and furiously pulling up like window after window and doing some veil programming and hacking right now. I'm trying to open up a way to my sanctuary, which will take a while, but that's I'm through with this place. I'm through with these people. Maybe they could talk me into bringing them with me, but I, at the very least, am out of here.
And she'll look at you, Nobu, and she'll say, "That's the deal. That's where I'm at right now."
All right. Do you have a reason why I shouldn't beat you up right now?
Nobu, who hired you?
I give the description of the unveiled person. That's not gonna help you, I know, but he didn't give any more information.
Yeah, real seemed like a sort of mid-level, fixer type who'd been sent to meet up with you there.
Yeah.
And very nondescript.
I think Kata has been very honest with you, Nobu. I don't think there was any reason for her. She could have walked away, and she did not, because she wanted to make sure that JB and you and, well, I could have walked away. The two of you were dealt with fairly.
And to be honest, she looks at you. I had no desire to spend the next 42 hours trying to run away from you.
That's fair. JB.
If it helps, I've looked into her accounts. She can pay for at least most of the trouble she's threatening to cause.
Can you do me a favor?
What is it, Nobu?
Can you make it look like she was roughed up in the veil or whatever?
And Prime pulls out the little tiara thing.
What the fuck is that?
He literally has a tiara.
Yeah. What the fuck is that?
It's how do I explain these things? It's what she looks like to everyone else. Not the tiara. It holds what she looks like to everyone else.
Okay. Make that look roughed up.
No, that's fine. Sure. I'm obviously not busy. I can just give me that. And like one hand still going through these various things. I'm gonna go back into the room where I did her change, hook this tiara up to that machinery, start adding bruises, some really like feature highlighting, sort of shadows and bruising going along, artful distressing.
Yeah, at first you're like, well, I'll just use a bruise pack 13. Well, no, I want to use this one.
And that really doesn't go quite with her coloring and
anyways.
And she'll say to you,
yes.
And I'm not trying to be dishonorable to you. I'm not trying to cause you a problem, but I will say this, Mr. Nobuyasu, I can financially reimburse you for the trouble.
Sure. And about those veil drugs. What the fuck?
In the most technical sense.
What do you mean?
No, as in, what the hell have people come to resort to veil drugs? What?
That's a long involved discussion. We should probably figure out about moving sites here. Soon.
Yeah, I agree. I just, Jesus Christ, I do not want to deal with this anymore. Veil drugs, Jesus fuck.
So let's cut to you're very excited about this toy. They're talking about some stuff, blah 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 blah, conspiracy, blah blah blah. What's your hot take on this?
You're talking to Aladdin, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think Aladdin was probably like trying to standing there configuring his new cyber arm, and when he hears the Brothers of the Veil and the description of them, I expect he'd look like a JB and be wondering if these are these the iconoclasts or is this somebody new?
JB definitely looks freaked out. Like this is not his normal. Like, oh, there's just someone with guns or whatever.
Yeah, so that's. But so Aladdin would be. The funny thing is he's spiked mad now, but so he should be terrified of the fact that if he thinks these are the iconoclasts, and that this is somehow connected to this lady. So this is both a good thing for him because in a sense it's a chance for him to test out his new weapon. Bad thing is that if this is them, then does he really want to go after them and draw more attention to himself?
Well, that's a good question. And you know what brings that actually to the fore is when you get the little signal on your thing about someone, messing with your vehicle.
Again? Damn, they must have tagged it.
Were you followed here? Who is following you?
I don't know. It's when we tried to find out who Kata was, they did a trace back.
Shit. I do not have time for this.
But I diverted them. I did a good job. I diverted them to the bar. And the police came to the bar.
Well, if you diverted them all to the bar, why are you worried now? What's that alarm going off?
Somebody's breaking into my workshop, I guess, or doing something with it. I gotta go see what this is. So where did we parked it in back, I would assume, but if there is
the front, I'm guessing the
Yes.
front because we saw the door.
That's right. Okay.
So I'm gonna come with you.
Okay. So you two will kind of come. Kata kind of looks at you, Prime, and essentially stands up because figures shit is about to go down or something.
I think it's probably best for you to stay here with JB. JB, you're working on an exit?
I'm working on an exit as fast as I can. It's not an easy place to exit from. It's highly public.
I'll grab the tiara and step into the room, the front area where the door is blown off. But I'm going to stay there as a guard between this and JB working on the exit.
And you will see when you get to the front window, you will see that there are these three sort of black vehicles that you saw not too long ago at the bar. And you can see that there's a couple of people there by your vehicle there, Aladdin, and they have dropped the robo boot and locked that down. One of those things that essentially it wraps around it and then it drives stakes into the concrete there to hold the thing in place. And you can see there's probably about a dozen guys total kind of coming out of these vehicles, and they look like very much to you normal, everyday, dressed nicely guys. They're kind of looking around, maybe a little bit preppy look to them. But you, Nobu, will see these dozen guys in tack armor and with weapons who are moving into positions.
Okay. Walk up to them.
So you want to go outside, out into the street then?
Yeah.
Okay. So you will see Nobu start to head out the broken front door and is going out into the street to do something with these people. I'm going to come back to Nobu. What are you doing, Aladdin?
Oh, Aladdin's going to go also.
Okay.
I think
so. You two.
Prime is going to send a message to Aladdin, because I can do that silently, that says, "Let me know if you need a distraction."
Yeah.
And
And I think Aladdin, since he's still mad, it's like whatever.
Prime, where are you?
I'm inside the broken doorway, in between the street where all this is going down and the back room.
Okay. And Nobu, you will see that these guys are kind of in a four-person teams, and you can move up on the first team.
I'm gonna ask. Okay, what's going on here?
Guy looks at you. You need to move on.
No, really, what's going on here?
You need to move on
Move on to what?
out of this area now.
What's going on?
Take her down. Take him down. And the other three move with stun batons on you.
All right, I am going to engage.
Okay. So there's a little bit of conversation, and then you will see the thing that you know is bad news is when these three guys go essentially to try and stun baton Nobu. So Nobu, tell me what happens. What do you do?
Going to defense position or defense art.
Okay.
And yeah, try to beat them up.
Okay.
Do what I do best.
This sounds like neutralize.
All right, I am. Let's see how I'm feeling. I think I'm feeling powerful because like it's not super like out of like it's sort of expected, so it's not like I'm like mad or anything. It's just okay, I'm probably gonna beat the fuck out of these people.
Okay.
And that's a 9.
That's a 9. All right. So
however, I do
yes.
have a shit ton of fucking what's it called? Humanity.
Do you want to spend some on that?
And yes, I'm gonna spend 1 to take a +1 because I am protecting someone from danger. So
Okay. So you've got 3 hold here. We've got 4 guys.
yeah.
The unit leader and 3 of these other guys. So what do you want to try and do?
I will inflict harm and then take away one of the stun batons.
Okay. So you've already inflicted harm. So you inflict harm. You take no harm. You've got the one of the stun batons from one of these guys. And how much harm do you deal?
2.
2. So you'll hit their armor.
Yeah.
And they're seriously armored.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to need you essentially. I'm going to have you roll risk.
Okay.
Okay. Because this is an immediate danger situation, and then I'm going to cut to Aladdin and the others.
I'll roll with mad because so these guys I mean business, so 7.
7. All right. So you can get out of the way of this if you want, or you can. Essentially, if you want to get away, you're going to have to fall back.
All right.
Okay. Or you can stand your ground here, and you're going to get hit.
I'll get hit.
Okay. Then you're going to take 1 S harm armor piercing.
Okay. So how does S harm work?
So it works like standard harm. It just heals slightly differently. I think it heals much faster.
Okay.
So essentially, it's a light harm here.
Okay. And armor piercing. Okay.
Yep. So you see that start up. That mess starts up there, Aladdin, and she. It's like, God damn it! He gets one of these batons out of the guy's hands, but another one jabs it in his side, and you'll see it does light him up. So, what do you want to do, Aladdin?
Question. So, how close am I to whatever's? You said that there was like a claw coming down onto the workshop.
No, what they put this like robo boot on the back wheel that kind of locks it and drives it down. Yeah.
So it can't move away.
Yeah.
So, I think he's gonna. Well, he's mad. So how much assessing would he really do in a stage like this? I don't think he would. I think he would just like throw himself at the one that's not. So the one that came up behind Nobu, I think he would position himself to try and take that person out.
All right. So just to remind you, situation. So Nobu has engaged these 4 guys. There are another 2 teams of 4.
Right. No, I know, but he's mad, right? He's furious mad still. So he's not going to be thinking too clearly. They're coming after his vehicle. That's everything he has left in there. No, this is not going to happen. So he's going to.
All right. So let's have you roll neutralize.
Yeah, I think that's what this is going to be. Okay. And he's mad. Let's see how this thing works with the playbook. I don't think I get any modifiers. Did that take? I can't see anything.
Let's see.
Oh, that's weird looking. Okay, it looks like an 8 with swirlies.
Oh, that's cool. It's rolling. It's saying that your spike there. So see 2d plus 1%. Oh yeah, because you're spiked on mad.
Right.
Okay. So that gives you an 8. So you got 2 hold, and you're going to take harm.
2 hold and I take harm, and whoops, what are my choices?
JB putting on her fighting clothes, fighting.
Yeah. Best respect.
Two hold to spend to take away an advantage, but that's only against 1 person, correct?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to inflict harm.
Okay.
And I'm picturing this me coming up behind him. I'm basically trying to, because I've got the plasma scalpel is what I expect I'd be using in this particular case.
And what damage does the plasma scalpel do?
Yeah, 3 harm intimate. This is pretty intimate.
So yeah, I mean that will cut into this guy's armor and jab across his back, and he'll scream out. So that's inflict harm. And what do you want for your other choice?
Actually, I'm pissed. So I want this to be harm twice. I want to inflict harm on him twice.
Okay. So yeah, you will do that, and you will jab that up, and you'll drop this guy. But as he's falling, he dropping down, and that stun baton goes right into your ankle.
Oh, crap.
Okay. And
so as this is going on out there and JB's sort of moving forward, he's got like tab after tab after tab of Windows and Veil information going, and there's one for Aladdin there that starts to spike, and he just swipes something on it. And I want to spend my last hold to one of my options is inflict or ignore 1 harm for them.
okay.
So I'm gonna ignore him harm for him.
So there is that thing when the Veil, we talked about the fact that the Veil can solidify, that it can do fields and things like that. And so he goes to do that, and the Veil, there's a field in the way, and it does not make contact with you. You're like, oh, I'm so lucky. Let me see what Prime is doing.
Okay, got off of mute.
Yeah.
So I think. So I see all this stuff go down. I'm going to assess the situation. So
Okay.
I want to see, are these guys out of their league or not? I mean, from my perspective, what I'm seeing is that there's 12 preppy guys that are kind of acting in unison, and I think Nabu and Aladdin just took a couple of them down.
Okay.
Looks okay.
Let's have you roll analyze, I think.
Okay, analyze.
Give you some questions and potential +1s.
So I got a 7, plus I'm scared, so I got an 8.
Okay. So you get 2 questions up to analyze.
Okay.
By the way, are you spiked yet?
I am 1 from being spiked. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to say which enemy is the biggest threat? Yeah.
there is a guy, a 13th man, getting out of one of the vehicles, and there is something about him that runs a shiver down your spine. Like, you've seen him before, and you don't exactly remember where, but you know that he is extremely dangerous.
What's my best way out past? I get 2 questions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna need to get above ground level or get to a vehicle, because they probably got people out back too. I'm assuming you don't know about JB's. Well, no, you do know about JB's Sanctuary because you were brought into it before, right?
Mhm.
Right. And I think that he can.
So yeah,
probably
actually,
help out.
that's the best.
Yeah, and I think he can probably get Kata there. So it's getting, these 2 guys into the sanctuary, getting these 2 guys away.
Okay.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try diversion. And there's a couple of things here. We set up trying to cover Nobu's back. This what looked like she'd actually taken care of things. I think I'm going to pop on the tiara. So I look like a bruised up Kata.
Okay.
Kata. And I'm going to run down the road saying, that bastard beat me up. Good for it. Get on him. Yeah.
So we will come back to you to do that divert action, but we know what that setup is on that then. Let me check in then with JB. What are you doing?
I had that moment of looking out for Aladdin there, but I am really focused hard on we've got to get away opened up.
Okay.
And I think the sort of form that will take, because I've been trying to think around, like, the veil can move things, but Nobuyasu doesn't interact with the veil. But I think there's going to be a room that sort of forms here in the shop and will take us physically down and start going through a pre-programmed route through, like, the city's sewers and underlayers.
Okay.
And to the rest of us, it will look like being magically transported into this wonderful Dark Veil sanctuary. Nobu will probably see us, like, in a small steel box moving through the sewers. But that's what I'm reaching for.
That sounds good to me. Is there a role that's associated with this for you?
No, there is the asylum move to be able to do this quickly and instantly and safely take other people. Otherwise, it's just under the Your Sanctuary, which you choose how you come and go, keeping in mind it is your bastion.
Okay.
And there are none of the actual choices that have to do with coming and going from it, except that it does have an entry into everyone's residences, even if they've taken pains to secure them.
Okay.
But yeah, the reason I went with the time consuming is because there is that asylum move to do it quickly.
Okay. So you are getting that set up. Let's say that this is sort of you strategizing and preparing this when we come back to you on a risk move. Does that seem cool?
Cool.
Okay. And we're kind of modifying that kind of doing that setup for yourself. Let's cut back out. Nobu, there are 3 guys now.
All right.
But there's still another 12 total out here.
All right. I'm gonna change my stance to brutal.
Okay.
So I deal more harm. I lose my armor, but it wasn't gonna help me anyway. So
Yeah.
and then I'm kind of pissed off, and I do have that move reprisal, which gives me a +1 hold when I neutralize. When against the person who I hold the most responsible for this.
Okay.
Which right now would be the person who just talked to me, who just told me to get me. So I am going to try to neutralize them as mad because I'm still mad.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and have you do that.
7.
So then what are your choices? What do you want to pick here?
I want to inflict harm and suffer little harm.
Okay. And how much harm?
And also I have another hold because of the move. So I will... I will impress, dismay, or frighten my opponent as well.
Okay. So tell me, how much harm do you deal when you're brutal?
3, and it's
3.
messy.
Okay. So yeah, it's that. What does that look like when you're doing that?
Brutal. I think it's like basically, I guess, poking eyes out and punching people and really hard. And yeah, if they're wearing battle armor, I'm like tearing those off their bodies probably.
All right. So yeah, I mean, and you will absolutely drop this guy, and the other 2 who are in that team there, with the fright and dismay, they fall back. And the other 2 teams, you see them, and they're going to light you up.
I did suffer little harm, so how much harm is that?
Well, no, this is the other teams. This is you rolling your risk against the other 2 forces here.
Oh, risk. Okay.
Yeah, you've dismayed these guys. They're not going to attack you because you just threw their tag team boss back.
Okay.
But you've got two small gangs firing on you.
Okay. I am going to roll mad.
Okay.
And now it spiked after that roll.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
it was a 7.
Oh, it is a 7. Okay.
Yes.
So you need to run, or you are gonna get absolutely torn up by this.
Okay, I'm running.
Okay. So there is that thing you will see then and do you describe to me what it looks like when you cut and run?
I basically, like, I see the guns being pulled up, and I basically book it. Like, I run towards some random direction.
Okay. And there's that thing where the guns come out and Nobu's gone. Parkour over the car tops, back flipping.
Not parkour because I don't have that move, but it's more
but
like
it looks like parkour.
Yeah, it looks like parkour.
Yeah, it looks like sweet action film. So what are you doing then, Aladdin? You are pretty close by, Nobu. And they've got these they're opening a fire here, and Nobu's gone.
Yeah, I think this is sort of like hands overhead, like and going and running to probably into the workshop to try and like get out of the way.
Let's have you roll risk.
It's like, this is just the worst date ever. Ugh. And risk, yeah, this is just going to be. Is this going to
still working your mad down?
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm trying to figure. I don't think let's see if it adds anything, because it should have added a +1 automatically, I would assume.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, not good.
You will hit, and thank God that front door is gone. You're going to take a moderate wound.
Ouch.
Okay. Where does it hit you?
Well, so are you saying that I'm actually the closest thing I could get to was the bombshell? So I went back into the bombshell?
Yep.
Okay. So then I would assume that it probably hits me in my leg, my lower leg.
And I'm only doing one thing on you because my assumption is that the other group is going to be distracted by Prime, who I'm about to cut to. Okay.
How much is the damage? I actually have 1 armor.
Oh, then it'll go down, essentially be a light wound then.
Okay.
Okay. Essentially 1 box as opposed to 2. So Prime, let's have you roll that divert.
Okay. So I think this is Prime coming out looking like Kata, and shouting at Nobu, saying, "That bastard beat me up. That's it. Shoot her. Shoot him. Shoot him." Ooh, and I rolled a 5, plus I'm scared, so that makes me a 6.
6. Oh. All right. So you go to do that.
Yeah.
And rather than like looking the other way, they're already on edge.
Mhm.
They see you in this guise, and the other gang, rather than being distracted, is going to light you up.
That's right.
So you're going to take 3 wounds.
And I have armor, so that would make it 2.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, bullets off of there. Tiara kind of tilts, almost goes off, and clothing tears. And you got a team that is chasing you down. JB.
Yes.
You'll see Aladdin run in.
No, it's fine. Just bleed on the carpet. I needed to have it cleaned anyways. Are we... Oh, how is this going?
Well, if you care so much about the carpet, you just should get it in red the next time.
Well, that's a good point. Thank you. I will take all of my future decorating tips from me. Are they being killed out there? What's happening?
Nabu ran off. I think he's okay. But what the hell is all this? I don't understand this. This is not parking police.
This, and I will stare back at Kata, is something to consider as soon as we can get out of here. Now stop distracting me. Who asked you to distract me?
So do you want to open up the transit and get you guys out of there?
Yeah, that's what I'm really focused on right now.
Okay. Let's have you roll risk.
All right. Things are still going fairly well out there. This is still my shop, and I'm not quite scared yet. Oh?
Well, I don't think I'd use "well" to describe what's going on out there, but
It's fine.
fair
We
enough.
took down a couple of them. The tiara's great. Things haven't gone totally sideways, is more my point. So I think we're sticking in the powerful, this is what I do sort of thing.
Perfect.
Do. I can't see that window. Oh. That's a 4.
So
Oh,
your game
that
is
was
back.
snake eyes. Oh.
You've got that line of vision to the back, okay? And you will you're calling this up. You're looking at the front. You've seen that Aladdin has stumbled over to where you are. Nobu has gotten to safety. Prime is running for it, and you'll see that 13th man walks up towards the front window. You can kind of see him again through like the pane of glass in the distance, and you'll see him go, and he breathes out neon.
Oh, fuck.
And when he does that, you'll see this vapor start to form into this human shape there. And the one-winged angel, that kind of lets off of there, and you hear the music come on in the background there as that appears. And yeah, it looks like he has summoned an iconoclast.
Oh, fuck. So yeah, as I see that, JB, like the panic does set in, and I have all these windows and tabs open, and I think I just I mishit. I put some of this code into the wrong places. I get confused about where I'm going right now.
Okay. So Nobu, you will get yourself away.
I'm spiked mad.
Yeah, they're still pursuing, but you're able to keep yourself out of that, and you're pissed.
Yeah.
Yep.
think I'm pissed, but I want to check in on everyone else because I am the hound, so I still want to check in on people.
So how would you get yourself to a position where you could observe, given your talents?
Get on top of a roof somehow.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good risk move. Essentially, trying not to draw too much attention, but trying to get up there fast so you can see what's going on.
All right. I will roll spiked 11.
Okay. So yeah, you you're up, freehand climbing up, swing yourself up, and you'll see that team there. There's the group that was kind of following you. There's the group at the front, a guy who's standing there as sort of at the front window, and the air is kind of distorted in front of him like a heat shimmer, which is unusual. And there's a team chasing your friend Prime, and Prime, you can see sparks off of Prime. He looks like he's the one that is in the most danger at this moment. And so we'll take the camera zoom from that, zoom in on Prime. Prime, what do you do? He pauses to think.
And is muted.
I hit unmute and it unmuted and I didn't even see it. Okay.
Yep.
So I think Prime's going to so I think what he's going to try and do is he thinks that they're probably after Kata. So I think he's going to try and shit's going down, right? They know something's bad here. He's going to take the tiara and try and put it on one of the nearby thugs.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that's a divert.
I think that's a divert. Yeah, that seems like the right way to play that.
Yeah. Oh, snake eyes.
Oh.
And by the way, I'm spiked, but I don't think it makes any difference for me.
No, it does. It does take your thing down when you after you do this. So they are on you. You try to do that and try to get up and get close to one to do that. And when you do that you like fast and you smash that tiara. Into the wall, and they don't get the shots on you this round, but you've broken the one thing you had to do this excellent diversion with. Got the little bits and pieces in your hand.
Also, that was expensive and mine.
So you will see then, Eladine, the iconoclast form. You can hear behind you from Kata, essentially, even as JB is kind of forming this zone. She goes, "What is that?"
This is what has been hunting you.
What? I thought the other guy was hunting me.
It's like, or they're after me. I don't know, but I'm not going to wait. And so I think this is where he pulls out his hand. I'm going to say that he's like uses his thumb as sort of like cocking a shotgun to like launch his cyber. Yeah, it's like and shoot at the iconoclast.
All right.
Assuming that's what this is, right? That's what it sounds like.
Yep, it is. It is. Why don't you go ahead and roll neutralize?
In the back of his mind, he's really happy that he's mad right now because otherwise he'd be shitting in his pants. This is. Well, okay, it should be that one.
Yes.
I can't even see it yet. I have to.
10.
Oh, nice! Yay!
All right. I'm going to move to a quick, like, if I can, I'm going to take do a quick narration of what I think occurs here. So if you guys don't mind. So I think what happens is this comes out and hits this angel and disrupts it. And you see the look on the guy's face behind. It's just a brief moment of surprise and then rage from him. And he's looking through at you, even as there's sort of the tatters of the neon around him. And it's probably at that moment that JB goes, whoop, 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 whoop. And the three of you go down. And you are running, Prime, and the guys chasing you flip around and fall back. And it gives you the opportunity to get away, and I assume that Nobu moves to aid to get him out of there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I will spend humanity if need be.
No, we'll let you hang on to
Yeah.
that. You grab him and get running, and you will break essentially out into the streets, blending with the crowd as best you can, and the others vanish away, and that's where we're going to stop for today.
All right.
I'd like to add one detail to that final scene before I go
please,
down.
yeah, please.
So Aladdin will look at that guy through the window and go, blow him a kiss.
Beautiful.
Fist comes up in rage. Let's do XP check-ins, shall we? And let's see if we got anything that you guys think you can make an argument for. I'm very loose on this, so if you can even vaguely connect it, I'm more than willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
We got XP on a
Maria,
miss, correct?
XP on a miss too. Yay!
Yeah. Oh shit. How many times I missed other than
I should be able to scroll up.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll up. I don't think I missed at all this session.
Now, I think you had a great session, Maria.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
no,
I do have beliefs that I think were either challenged or something.
Yeah, let's walk. Tell me about what you hit.
Okay, so humanity is frivolous and stupid was tested because Kata is, even though she deals in veiled drugs, like what the fuck? but like she at least came up to me and like Prime said that happened, and it's like, okay, I guess I can trust her a little bit, since I don't, well, not trust, but like I can give her the benefit of the doubt, since I also told her that, oh, okay, you should probably look bruised up after that. So
Perfect. So give you a point for that.
yeah. And then the other ones weren't challenged. Well,
maybe strength is all you need to survive.
either. What do you think? Was it tested or was it? Or
I think
did
it
get me
tested.
into trouble?
You thought that your strength could overcome any obstacle,
Yeah.
and that was not the case.
I think it got me into trouble. If
Yeah.
So that's 2 experience.
Yeah, 2 XP.
Yay.
And because we're doing a short run game, everybody gets to mark a free XP for the session.
Yay! I
Okay.
level up.
Okay.
Nice.
I get an improvement.
Excellent. Patrick, what about you?
So I'm still thinking over my first one, but machine versus machine, Aladdin, as much as he's sort of frivolous and complainy, you know, who would go out there and complain so much? It's just tacky. But as much as he's all that, this new component, he's actually made something for himself, and he took out a fucking iconoclast with it. So I think that definitely he will be instrumental in the downfall of the iconoclast. Hit that.
Okay.
And then hiding in the foreground, I think just got blown out of the water. I think that went past the point of getting me into danger, into like, I'm gonna have to change that one. Because
do you think that's resolved?
I do, specifically because it's not just that like I had a fight with an iconoclast there. An iconoclast and his agents saw me open up a way into the Warren, into my dark web sanctuary, literally in front of them. So I think that sort of shattered my operational security.
Well, when you resolve a belief, change it. I think that's 3 XP for that.
Mm-hmm. So
anything else?
No, like I said,
Okay.
I'm still not happy with the first one, and I don't think we really pushed against it, even if I did reword it.
Okay.
So,
Well, let's next time we'll at the beginning, let's make sure we stop off and look at how we might change that up.
But I did get one advancement there, which I'm happy about.
Maria, you were saying?
my advancement, I picked Musashi, which lets me, whenever I neutralize, I roll at a +1 no matter what, unless my state is higher.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to take Asylum so that we don't have to go through this bullshit next time I want to get into my sanctuary.
Actually, I'm not sure. Let me.
Yeah,
let
no,
me
think
look
about
at
it.
My,
Yeah,
I'll think
there's
about
some
it.
good stuff in the Hone there.
Yeah.
Let's come over to Eladine. He's thinking and muted.
Did you say Aladdin? There might have been a gap there.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Yeah, so actually with the XP you gave me, that leveled Aladdin up also. And I also think he hit, I think it's funny because I think there should be this scene where JB, Kata, and Aladdin all look at each other and say, they were after me.
Perfect. That wait, they weren't after me? Maybe they were after...
They were after...
Right.
Wait, but they were... Wait, you?
So yeah, I'll let you mark a point for that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I don't think anything else got questioned. I don't think my humanity got questioned this time around.
All right. And you can certainly think about what advance you want.
Well, that's easy because I was already sort of predestined with my Omni tool. So I'm going to take Things Speak.
Oh yeah, that's a very nice one. All right, let's come to Prime.
So with Prime, I think one of my beliefs is I believe the Veil and the people are one. And in this case, I was depending a lot on the Veil covering up with the tiara, the escape, and I think that got me into trouble.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you a point for that.
Yeah. I also noticed, so on my play sheet, well, number one, I've got one of them's built for battle. I think I can only take that once. There's 3 different possibilities, but I think you can only take it once. Does that sound right?
I think so.
Yeah. I noticed a difference between the first generation playbooks that I had printed out and the second one that I'm looking at electronically. Has a move that's awesome. It's called Terminal. When you reflect upon humanity and come to the determination that it's beyond saving or redemption, you may lock out your emotions and put a +1 into all states.
Yikes.
I'm like, that's like the corruption move, getting to the end and retiring your character.
Yeah, that's oof.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay.
To look at that. Yeah, it looks like built for battle is you can only take once.
Yeah, because there's only one box next to it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. If you guys don't mind, I'd like to do Roses and Thorns here. Lord, apparently I've lost my ability to talk. I'd like to do Roses and Thorns here real quick. Talk about that since still getting kind of used to that. We're kind of played a little bit more with the characters today. We'll start with Thorns, and I will say I'm still working on how to get people's beliefs into the table in a way. I'm used to, when I run Fate, letting people handle their trouble aspects and do their own compels on that. So I'm maybe a little bit hesitant about leaning into those as much as I think I could. So I'm going to try and think about those this week for next time and see how I can bring more interesting versions of that for you. Stephen Thorns.
So I can think of 2 things. The first
Sure.
is kind of also a rose. It's basically that I was really concerned whenever we developed the characters that there was going to be a lot of contention between the 2. Between the different characters. There's a lot about the people who are very honed in on the Veil and the people who are very the characters Nobu, who basically is the Veil is nothing. And then there's a lot of people who are about humanity, a lot of people who are against the humanity. We want to modify ourselves. And I was really worried that was going to end up being a problem in game. There was going to be a lot of conflict. But so far, we seem to be working really well together, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Okay.
The other thing was, I'd really like to see if I can, in some way, push the development of my humanity and of I think Aladdin's discovering, pushing his humanity and those questions, but I'm not sure how to work that in yet.
Okay.
It's something that I tried a little bit by modifying a belief that I had. I'm just not sure yet how to punch that. So
Okay.
I think
That's great, and that's something that I can think about how to enhance that dimension. So that's good feedback. Then Chris.
Let's see, Thorns. Yeah, between the Geary and the beliefs, it always feels to me like there's a lot of moving parts here to try and keep them both going. So
this is literally the first time I've seen Geary used
in play. Yeah. It's because it's almost like you don't. In many cases, you don't need it unless you've got really antagonistic characters that are working across purposes,
right? Or unless somebody's taken the character that's built on Geary, the honor bound.
Right, and then that forces it to be in play all the time. So I guess that's mainly it, is trying to remember that, because also, I'm trying to figure out how, in order for me to really start questioning my humanity, I think Aladdin is going to have to get more and more cyber parts somehow. So that means that that's going to be contingent on him making those rolls.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to go there. I'd like to have those conversations, because I think it'd be interesting between Nobu, Prime, and Aladdin to have that conversation about what humanity is and how the veil plays into that.
Interesting, and hopefully we will start out this next session in a new place that you can scrounge again. Okay. Patrick, Thorns.
That's difficult. I love this game so much. I'll sort of agree with beliefs being difficult for me. They're a hard way for me to structure my brain, and there's like a sentence and a half of support in the book. I'm sort of looking forward to Cascade, because I think the idea of specific questions that you're aiming for would fit better with my way of thinking. So it's like I still have that one belief that I'm just totally struggling with the way to make it actionable. Like, I can come up with beliefs, I just can't come up with good ways to make them interesting and useful game elements. So that's sort of where I struggle with this game.
Yeah, I almost think it would take some work. I haven't seen what Cascade has done, because when I kickstart things, I don't look at it until it's done, because I'm an idiot. But it would be nice to have something that's closer to flags from Dungeon.
Yeah. And that's like I said, he's sort of changed it into questions for Cascade, where it's like, what am I wondering about? What do I specifically want to see brought up and toyed with, whether it's confirmed or whether it's challenged? That's the difficult thing with beliefs, is the XP comes when it's challenged, when I feel like as long as we hit it really hard thematically, that should probably be the thing. And questions, I think, fit in there more.
Mm-hmm.
They remind me a lot of flags, yeah.
Maria, Thorns?
I think I'm still unsure of how spiking and unspiking works, because the book itself doesn't say that you unspike or you remove spikes when you do the adjacent thing, but the playbooks do, so it's a bit unclear there.
Actually, I think the book does.
Yeah, but it's like in one place, in like one sentence of if you mark the paired one, it goes down.
Yeah, and then the playbooks I have on my computer, they don't have paired off. They don't have any boxes paired off.
Yeah,
he updated the playbooks about a month or two ago.
Yeah, I need and the ones I posted aren't the updated ones, as it turns out. So I need to go through and fix that.
I have the updated ones, but he removed the pairs, so it's weird. So I'm a bit confused about that.
Oh, he had a lot of issues uploading to Drive-Thru RPG, and so he kept checking them, and that was what kept showing up missing, was that the pairings were not there for all the playbooks.
I think the final most recent one does have the pairings.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good catch, though.
Again or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish I actually another thing I'll say I kind of felt like I didn't give you enough to do today, Maria.
I think I
so-
had. Well, I think it's because like my character is a one-track mind, I guess. So it's like, oh, I have to find Kata. Oh wait, there's people now after Kata that I might have to protect her from. Okay. So like he doesn't have like any side things going on.
Okay, yeah, I have to think about how to play that to get you some more cool stuff at the table.
Yeah.
So Maria, I'd like to specifically check in with you. During the game, I explicitly excluded your character from conversation by doing it solely through the veil. And I wanted to make sure that didn't make you feel squicky or anything. Okay.
No, that's fine. I mean, it made sense because, you know, and also because you were trying to get Kata safe into like it made sense in the fiction.
Yeah.
As to why you would exclude Nobu. So yeah.
I really like having the honed in the group because it gives us a different perspective of everything. So like the last fight, the image that I have is you see the ratty clothed robot running around and smash the tiara, and then everybody runs away.
Yeah, it looks really weird, but I guess Nobuyasu is getting used to it. To like random stuff happening for no reason or seemingly no reason.
Yeah, I'm going to switch around to Roses. I'm going to say one of the things is I have enjoyed this because this has given me a chance to play around with what the veil does and doesn't look like, and what the elements are, and we've got the veil as a kind of a conscious, effective force here. So that's really interesting to me. I like that you guys have put that on the table. It's cool stuff for me to chew on as a GM. So I'm enjoying that. Steven, Roses?
So I think I kind of started that. I like the character mix. So it's interesting to me. I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed Cyberpunk until I played it in a couple of games recently. And I started finding all the artwork and all the stuff that I really, really loved. And the characters that we have here are just so good with, you know, like I was saying, the honed gives us a different perspective. The iconoclast and the other characters basically help us show, you know, what the modifications in cyberware is like and all that. I think that really fits really well together. So Lowell, have you seen that in your other Veil games, that the characters drive a lot of the fiction and give you interesting perspectives?
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, I do very little. I mean, I put incidents in there and then I try and tune it to who they are. And I've enjoyed that. It has been a good game in that. I will say one of the things that the Veil has felt like to me is there's a lot of play to see what happens. Very strongly in this. That I have no idea what we're going to do. Let's see what happens. And I dig that. Christo, Roses?
I like I think the interactions of these playbooks will be really interesting. As I said, with Prime, with an apparatus, a catabolist. I'm never going to get that right. And the hone together, I think that can play out very interesting. And kudos to Patrick, because I think I really love Patrick's character. I think
thank you.
Character adds a lot to
Definitely.
And JB's ended up being the character that a lot of this, if not all of this, is revolving around in many ways. And I think that's playing out well.
Yeah, I really like that. It feels solid. Patrick?
Like I said, I love the Veil, and I'm loving this group. I like how if you take any two characters and put them next to each other, like they have differently opposing viewpoints on what's going on. Like it's not like we fall solidly into two camps on any subject. There's all these different viewpoints and ways of doing it. I really like the sort of simplicity and confusion of Prime, and how he's just sort of willing to go along with what other people are trying out at the moment. On the other hand, I like the very focused and immovable nature of Nobu, because there's so much of my character and what I was trying to do this time that was all about like diversion and distracting and talking over and just, oh, let's not even pay attention to that. And Nobu was just laser focused on no, ignore all the rest of that. I want this. Where is this? And I couldn't work around that, and that was great. And I think Aladdin is hilarious. I love the idea that I love the idea that you're willing to just totally buy into what I was doing with the iconoclasts and back me up with the paranoia and fear there. But I love how I love the pairing that it makes between the two of us complaining about different things, but getting annoyed at the other for complaining all the time. I love the way you do games, Lowell, but specifically for this one, I like how very like bouncing off of each other all the storylines are, how we came from the first session in these two groups in totally different directions and sort of came in and hit each other and we're interacting the whole time, and then here at the end we've split off into two totally different groups.
I didn't put that together until just now. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And so we'll get a different pairing and setup next time of like, how are things going to play out this time? And I think that's so cool.
Awesome. Maria, you get last word.
I really enjoyed the banter between the characters. I guess I reiterate that.
Me too.
Yeah, all the character interactions are amazing, honestly. Versus on that.
Yeah, good stuff. Good combos. And here's the thing is, we didn't do all that much during a 2.5-hour session, but I loved letting all those bits breathe. And that you guys wanted to do that. So good stuff. Yeah,
the whole thing of, okay, let's successfully divert everyone and get all the problems split away from each other, and like Prime and Kata get as far as the car before they turn back around and come back in. And that was so great. That sort of thing can feel futile sometimes, of like, why did we spend all this time doing that if we're just going to turn around and undo it? But every part of it was satisfying, and when you came back in, I was like, oh, that is perfect.
Yeah. And Maria, I loved your reaction to that. I thought that you, when she did that, I thought you did handle that really well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast here and do that.